Alright battlers, we are back with Team Rocket episode 4. We are in downtown Tampa taking on these Rockets using only Great League Pokemon. Let's see how it goes. We open this time with Crobat. The Rocket opens with Shadow Squirtle. Squirtle's going to use a few bubbles here, but it's going to do a lot of damage to our Crobat. We are going to have to shield this charge move, and it turns out that it's Aqua Jet. So a few more fast attacks, and we're going to pull the switch into Crobat's prior evolution, Golbat. This is actually one of my only PvP perfect Pokemon. This Golbat is 0 attack, 15 defense, and 15 stamina. We're going to use a few more wing attacks to bring down that Squirtle, and out comes Ivysaur. We're going to use the Shadow Ball against Ivysaur here to do as much damage as possible, and it lands beautifully. A few more wing attacks, and we get in a second Shadow Ball. Let's see if it's enough. That Ivysaur withstands the Shadow Ball, but one more wing attack brings it down. The last Pokemon this Rocket has is a big Shadow Venusaur. I'm going to fire off the Poison Fang here to get a little bit of chip damage. As you remember, Venusaur is grass and poison, so it doesn't take super effective damage. We switch back in with Crobat and use the Shadow Ball with that energy we had from earlier. I bring in the Golbat. We try to go for one more Poison Fang, but it gets taken down. Guys, we're bringing in the Fortress, which is a great wall to the grass types, but look at that. We are struggling. We're able to get to here to this heavy slam, and I think it's enough to bring down Venusaur, and it is. That was a very exciting first round against the Rockets. Can't wait to get into round 2. Jumping into round 2, I'm going to open with Beedrill. Beedrill is a bug and poison type Pokemon, and we're going to go up against a Shadow Oddish here. So I'm using Poison Jab. It's doing okay, but that Oddish is really hurting us. Guys, there's a trick where if you hold your finger at the top right corner when you're using the flying type charge move animation, it gives you a perfect. I tried it there, didn't go very well. I'm going to use a Sludge Bomb here against the grass type Bulbasaur and then make a fast switch into Golbat. Golbat's going to use a few wing attacks to take down Bulbasaur, and in comes Torterra. Guys, if you had a great Turtwig community day, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what your highest rank Torterra is. I believe mine is rank 8 for the Great League, and I think for the Ultra League my best is 23 or so. But we're just going to try to do some work against Torterra, but it's so bulky it takes down Golbat. Luckily, I have Skarmory in the back. I do a little bit better here with this trick. For the flying type animation, we get a great and a super effective damage is enough to bring down the Torterra. Diving right into round 3, I'm going to open with Lapras with Ice Shard and Ice Beam. This Rocket opens with Shadow Rattata. Believe it or not, David and Goliath, this Rattata is doing a huge amount of damage to our Lapras. I bring in Hitmonchan and it finishes it with a counter. However, we're facing off against Raticate. Raticate is normal type, so these counters are going to do very well. I'm going to fire off the Ice Punch here to get a little more damage in. And then one more counter takes down Raticate. But guys, Snorlax is coming in, and Snorlax knows Zen Headbutt. That Psychic type attack erases our Hitmonchan. I'm going to bring in Lapras with the stored energy from earlier, and the Ice Beam does a little bit of chip damage, but this is a very uphill battle for us. I bring in my last Pokemon, Hypno. My Hypno does have Shadow Ball and Focus Blast, and I'm racing to that Focus Blast, guys. We get it. Let's see if it's enough to bring down the Snorlax. It's close. Two more confusions, and we win against that Rocket in round 3. Hoping for a Shadow Snorlax, but instead we get Shadow Rattata. In round 4, we are facing off against triple Hitmonchan, the fighting type Pokemon. I'm going to open here with Golbat. Golbat is a flying type, so it will resist the counters that Hitmonchan is throwing. However, we are going to need to shield this charge attack because it could be an Ice or a Thunder Punch. It is Ice Punch, and that would have devastated our Golbat. We're going to get a few more attacks and then switch into Xatu. Xatu is a flying and psychic type Pokemon that you might recognize from some of the cups. We are getting better there with that flying animation trick and land that super effective damage. In comes another Hitmonchan. We're going again for the Aerial Ace, and we go a little bit too low there. We still get the great, and it does very, very good damage. A few more air slashes, and Xatu barely takes out that last Hitmonchan. Here comes the third Hitmonchan, and we land the excellent, guys. A few more air slashes, and Xatu has done a tremendous job for our team. I'm going to bring in Golbat here, and we have a Shadow Ball banked from earlier. Let's see how well it does. It brings that Hitmonchan very close. I make the fast switch into Altaria, and a few Dragon Breaths win us the match. This is very cool because we defeated triple Hitmonchans. We get a Shadow Hitmonchan. Going into this next round, I'm going to open with Lucario against Venonat. This is a weird kind of matchup because Venonat is a bug type. It does no confusion though, so I have to bail out immediately. I bring in the cool sunglasses Blastoise. Bug is weak to ice, so I fire off the Ice Beam here. It does good damage, but Venonat is so tanky, we need a few more water guns to bring it down. In comes Golbat. Golbat is a flying type. I try to rush for that Ice Beam, but we don't quite make it. I decide to bring in Ice Shard Lapras. This Ice Shard Lapras has Skull Bash and Surf. Skull Bash is a very interesting move because it boosts your defense and it does neutral damage because it's a normal type attack. We fire off a Skull Bash against this Muck here. We're trying to get the excellent, and we do. That Muck takes decent damage, but that Skull Bash buffs our Lapras to a certain point. I'm going to bring in Lucario here, fire off a Last Resort Shadow Ball. That Muck survives, and this match is coming right down to the wire, guys. I almost get the Power Up Punch, and then I bring in Lapras. With 1 HP, we fire off the Surf to finish this Shadow Muck. Our reward for this battle is Shadow Venonat. Going into this round, guys, I'm going to open the legendary Yellow Bird Zapdos. My opponent opens with Shadow Poliwag. I'm going to use a few Thunder Shocks here, and we are taking massive damage, so I have to swap into Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu is a very big surprise to me in the Rocket battles. It's very squishy, but it spams its attacks so quickly that you can take super advantage of how the Rocket Pokemon get stunned. As you'll see here, I fire off the Wild Charge, a few more Sparks, and that Poliwhirl did not fire back an attack at all. A few more Sparks here against the Politoed. We're going to use another Wild Charge here. Couple more Sparks, and you're noticing a pattern. We fire off a third Wild Charge, and that Politoed goes down. Surfboard. Jumping right into the next match with Vileplume. We're facing off against Psyduck, and I hope it doesn't have confusion. It has Zen Headbutt, which is probably just as bad. We get taken down, so we decide to bring in our Meganium. One Vine Whip does the trick. I'm going to fire off a Frenzy Plant here against Golduck. Because Meganium's a pure grass type, it's not going to take super effective damage from confusion. However, we can't take many hits, as you just saw. I'm going to fire off a Frenzy Plant against this Poliwrath, and it does super effective damage. We try to get to one more while that Poliwrath is stunned, and we do just that. Does very well against this Poliwrath. One Rock Smash, though, does us in. I bring in Sceptile. Guys, this is crazy. The Rock Smash is hurt, and we tie. We tie with another Rocket. This is so insane. We end up getting the win, but man, was that wild. We get a Shadow Psyduck out of the deal. Guys, going into this next round, I open with Swalot against Venonat. We saw a Venonat with Zen Headbutt earlier. This one has a different attack. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It might be Bug Bite. I fire off here an Ice Beam against Venonat. It does well. Swalot is taking a beating, but it is a very bulky Pokemon as well. I decide to throw out my shield here and defend against the Signal Beam. We're going to bank a little more energy here and then use an Ice Beam to try to finish off this Venonat. Venonat goes down, and the second Pokemon is Golbat. Golbat is a flying type, so this ice type attack will do good damage against it. We're going to make the fast swap into Flygon. Flygon's an interesting Pokemon, being dragon and ground. It does very well against sturdy Pokemon like Bastiodon and Melmetal. However, it does struggle against ice types. This is our first time using a dragon type attack, I believe, in these videos, and it is cool. The Dragon Claw comes flying at you from the left-hand corner like a Draco Meteor. We're going to fire off a few more Mud Shots and get to a third Dragon Claw. Part of the reason I love Flygon is because it's so spammy. We're actually going to land... Oh, we try to land the Earthquake there, but we don't quite make it. Muck is a formidable opponent. I switch in to get a little more energy, and then I switch right into Vigoroth. Vigoroth's going to use Bulldoze, which is a ground type attack. Poison is weak to ground, so it is super effective damage. I'm trying to get to a second one, and we do. This match is going to come really close, though. That Muck is still around. A few more counters, and our Vigoroth goes down, but that energy we banked earlier pays off. I bring in Swalot to use an Ice Beam and finish off Muck. For this next round, guys, the gloves are coming off. We are bringing out Dialga to battle against this Grunt. We are so sick of the Snorlax combo, and Dialga is going to lay the smackdown. We're going to fire off a bunch of Dragon Breaths here. As you can see, we've got some awesome competitors in the back. I decided to bring in Machamp. Machamp is going to use this fighting type attack, Dynamic Punch, against the Snorlax. It does super effective damage. The only caveat is that these Snorlax know Zen Headbutt, so Machamp is going down pretty quick. We're able to sink one more Dynamic Punch into the Snorlax, though, before we go down. And that Snorlax is very weak. I'm going to bring in the giant Steel Dragon Dialga once more. A Dragon Breath does that Snorlax in, and we're facing off against the final Snorlax. I'm going to bank a ton of energy and go for the Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor does immense damage to Snorlax, and we're able to Dragon Breath down that rocket. No more playing around, no more Great League Pokemon just for that match. Just had to let them know how it was going to be, you know? We get a Shadow Snorlax out of the deal, which is pretty sweet. Guys, going into this match, I open with Regirock. Regirock is going to use rock-type attacks like Rock Throw, and is going to bring down the Zubat pretty quickly. I am going to shield this attack here, which turns out to be Air Cutter. In comes the next Pokemon, which is Crobat. I have Focus Blast here, which is not going to do very well because Crobat is a flying type. However, any damage counts at this point. I've got two Smackdown Pokemon in the back. One is Tyranitar, the other is Bastiodon. I fire off a Crunch here against this Crobat, and it's enough to bring it down. However, the last Pokemon that comes in is Dragonite. Guys, this is a very precarious situation. Bastiodon might be able to pull this out. Let's see. We fire off the Stone Edge here against the Dragonite. It does a ton of super effective damage, but it's still around and those Dragon Tails hurt. It's going to fire off a Charge Attack here, and we are going to spend our last shield on it to defend against the Hyper Beam. We are able to get to one more Stone Edge, and we bring down the Dragonite. Dragonite is one of the hardest Pokemon to bring down because Dragon types are such good generalists in the game. Guys, this video was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed Team Rocket Battles Episode 4, let me know in the comments. I've got more videos as well. Check out Episode 3, Episode 2, and Episode 1. See you in the next one.